Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to day 2 of our special session. Every club can thrive, every member can succeed. This is an initiative called Global Leadership Impact Summit with a mission to create a global community of leaders making a positive impact in the world. Yesterday's session was a masterclass in leadership evolution by distinguished Toastmaster Brahm Memone, where we explored the three states of leadership: operational, strategic, and legacy. We learned that excellence drives experience, which in turn fuels engagement, helping clubs thrive. A powerful shift in mindset was introduced from helping to serving and contributing. We also learned the importance of well defined, fair, and consistent rules. And the emphasis was on navigating change by distinguished Toastmaster Tony. The key takeaways included setting your club's North Star, applying the rule of six, and breaking barriers for innovation. But if you think that you have missed yesterday's session, then don't worry. You can watch it on our YouTube channel. I request Hannah to please share the link in the chat box. So, with the same momentum, let's step into today's session. Are you all ready to dive deeper, grow stronger, and continue building clubs of excellence and impact? I request all of you to please turn on your videos. It will be nice to see you all. As you know, this is a very interactive session. So if you all can come on video, it will be nice. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So today we are going to learn from some case studies in Toastmasters club growth. So be ready to learn through real examples and the real strategies, the real results. And in the second part of today's session, we will also understand how Toastmasters can pivot your professional life and learn how to turn communication skills into career growth, leadership presence, and professional breakthroughs. But before we start, let us know each other. Can you please type your name and the place you all are joining from? Please type your name and the place you are joining from in the chat box. We have Nitati joining from South Africa, Amber from Italy. We have members joining from Texas, Chicago, UK, South Africa, Indonesia, Kenya. Oh my God. Thank you so much for joining from different parts of the world. We have members from Pakistan, India, Barbados, New Zealand, UK, South Africa, from Ontario, Canada, West Indies, Ireland. Wonderful. It's so nice to see that you all have joined from different time zones, from different parts of the world. This shows your commitment, your dedications towards learning. So before we start today's session, let me introduce myself. I am Dr. Ashwati Rajan from India. I am a scientist, an instructional coach, and a trainer, also the immediate past Club Growth Director of District 120. I will be the MC for today. And if you have any questions for the speakers, please direct them to me. All your questions will be answered during the session. So let's get into a poll. I request the Zoom master to share the poll. Thank you. So this is the first poll for all of you. What is the biggest challenge your club faces right now? The options are member retention, guest conversion, leadership pipeline, low meeting energy. I can see most of you think that membership retention and guest conversion are the biggest challenge. Wonderful. So we have almost tie between these two options, member retention, and guest conversion. Thank you so much for answering this poll. Now, this year's theme, any club can thrive, any member can succeed, is not just a belief, it's a bold declaration. It reminds us that leadership isn't confined by titles or geography. Every club, no matter how small, every member, no matter their starting point, with the right support and vision, growth is inevitable. So let's the Global Leadership Impact Summit begin. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to hear from the visionary behind today's event. Distinguished Toastmaster Brahm Memone. Brahm is not just a name in Toastmasters. He is a force. The founder of Leadership Speak, the world's top-ranked advanced Toastmasters club out of over 15,000 globally. A three-time distinguished Toastmaster with 29 years of leadership and communication mastery. Brahm has redefined what it means to lead, speak, and grow. But his impact goes far beyond Toastmasters. He is a globally respected leadership coach, elite trainer, and keynote speaker, known for pushing boundaries and challenging leaders to rise to their full potential. His acclaimed program, Pro Speak and Lead, is a five-star training experience that has transformed professionals into confident communicators and purpose-driven leaders. Today, he brings us a powerful keynote. Any club can thrive, any member can succeed. An unflinching call to stop waiting and start building with clarity, courage, and commitment. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me and welcome the man who is building the next generation of transformational leaders, distinguished Toastmaster Brahm Memone.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, Shwati, for that introduction. What I'm doing is I took a screenshot of the poll that Aswati had posted, and member retention and of course guest conversion are important. They're very important, and yet we are not able to retain members or convert guests. There's a lot of clubs that have added a lot of members, but they have a lot of churn as well. And so we're going to look at a case study today as to how to increase membership, how to really start from scratch if your club is at under 8 members. There's no active members in there. You are probably the only club champion and somebody else, a couple of you. What would you do, right? So that's what we're going to look at. Now, yesterday we looked at a lot of stuff and the 3 things that really make a club tick. This is just part of that 3 things that we talked about: operational leadership, strategic leadership, and legacy. Those are 3 levels of leadership that we need to have for a club to succeed, because at each level, a different type of leadership comes into being. Whether it's the DCP point or club success plan, all those things come into play at different levels. A club success plan is not formulated at the operational level. That is the club meeting. That is how a meeting unfolds, and knowing your role. But knowing your role well happens at the strategic level and at the legacy level. We learned all that yesterday, right? And so we also learned that a lot of these things have been forgotten, especially when pandemic hit, and we forgot how to create relationships and how to connect with human beings. We lost traction. Not only that, but this thing had been building for the past 10 years, and it hit when the pandemic hit. How was it building for the past 10 years? Well, this device here is guilty, very much guilty. We've lost how to relate to people. We are connected, technologically connected to people, but not really connected to human beings and have relationships. It all has become transactional because of this device. And so when the pandemic hit, and we all went on our devices, totally absorbed in it. This thing had been building for the past 10, 12 years when these things came about. And so it was just the last straw that broke the camel's back in how we've forgotten what leadership really means in the new technological digital area. Doesn't matter if you're meeting physically, doesn't matter if you're meeting on Zoom. We have forgotten the fundamentals of leadership, the fundamentals of why Toastmasters was created, that communication is essential, but how are we communicating? Now, I have found in my 29 years that there's two types of communication, of course. The one when you stand up and speak to a group of people, or even presenting to a small team at your work, or even to one person. That communication as an instruction or something to do is different than the communication that you would have with your members and to bring them together to create a high performing team, a study group. Now remember, as the Toastmasters Club is not a club, it is a study group. We are studying communication and leadership, right? Would you agree? That's what we are doing. We're not clubbing here. How many of you are clubbing here? I bet none of you are. Exactly. So we'll do a case study. Then I will how I revived my Speak Toastmasters, the member there were 8 on the books, 2 were active, the rest didn't want to have anything to do with it, and they didn't renew at the end of March. And this is when I started coaching officially. Well, I'd been made a coach a couple of months before, but we really started in February because the club didn't quite gather its marbles. Those 2 people, we had to sort of make sure that they really understood what we wanted to do and the direction we wanted to go. So we will do that as well. And then I will also go through, if I was to coach a club of 10 members today, what would I do today? Right? As well. And from that, we will learn together. I may not know everything. I will only talk about things that I know that I've used in my clubs from my experience. That's what I'm sharing. This is not the official Toastmaster International workshop. This is my experience of what I have done in many clubs to succeed. So it's my experience. So use what you can. If you can take what I have and sort of change it a little bit, sort of to suit your needs, do that. Don't follow exactly what I did if it doesn't suit your needs. But you can take the inspiration from what I have, or use exactly what I have, but then you have to sort of internalize what I'm saying and embody it. Okay, everything that I'm saying here it's not only internalized, but it's embodied. I walk and talk that. It is me. It is authentic. Okay, so you have to find your authenticity when you are leading as well. So let's have a look at. I think yes, correct. Just wanted to talk a little bit about Leadership Speak. I created this club with a co-founder in 2002, February of 2002. We launched and chartered the club in 1 week, or maybe 10 days, because the paperwork takes a bit of time and it goes to Toastmasters International by the time they give you the certificate. All right. So I think the official date is 17th of February. Why I'm hesitating and I can't remember is past 3 or 4 clubs that I've created, they've all happened in February, and including my Speak, that really took off in February as well. And there was a club a few years before that, which I'd created on February the 12th. I don't know, it's just been a coincidence. Somehow February is my lucky month. I should do everything in February, right? But Leadership Speak, created in February of 2022. By June, it was the president's distinguished, and by June of 2023, it was one of the top 5 clubs, and currently, by education awards, it is the top club. But I always say, the education awards doesn't create quality. It never does. If you are really only after the DCP points, let's get that distinguished status or select distinguished or president's distinguished, and you're only focused on that, you will lose sight of the real thing, the connection with the members, the quality of the meetings, the leadership that's really needed to create a great tight-knit team who's studying education, communication, and leadership. you will forget that if you're only focused on your DCP points and how can I get this guest to join so that I get 8 members so that that's part of my DCP points, right? 8 members, 4 and 4. If you're only focused on numbers, you will not succeed. You will not succeed. Like we always say, if the trophy is the only goal you have, it'll be very difficult for you to get the trophy. But if you put in the practice and you do what's really necessary to succeed, you will succeed beyond your wildest dream. You have to have the right mind frame. Now, today, I am going to only talk about certain strategies, and these are strategies. Yesterday, quite a lot of you filled in the feedback form. Thank you so much. I read all of them, and a lot of you mentioned quite a number of things. One of them was mentorship. But the other thing was, I realized after reading everything that you've written down on the feedback form is, and I know that this is really a problem in a lot of clubs, and it is nothing that we talked about yesterday or nothing we will be talking about today. It's totally entirely different. It's the type of communication that I'm talking about. And so I decided I'm only doing 2 sessions, but there's this certain type of communication that we need to communicate in a certain way, and it will also make you a highly effective evaluator at the same time. That is really missing in Toastmasters in a lot of clubs now, currently. And that is the reason why it is going south. Okay? So therefore, I decided, okay, I will do a couple, I will be doing a lot of events this year. So in about 3 weeks' time, I will be talking about that type of communication that you really need to have. And it can be confrontational for some of you because it is a different type of communication. Now, you all have done, hopefully, level 2 and understanding your communication style. You also done understanding your leadership style, right? But that's not really fixed. From that style, you were supposed to learn how could you change a couple of things so that you can become more effective as a communicator and more effective as a leader, having done that test. If you did that, like, what can I change here? What can I change in my leadership style? What can I change in my communication style? They're really basically the same thing. Leadership style, communication style, they go hand in hand, really. And so you have to tweak a few things, and those things are not being tweaked, or we are not being taught how to do that. And so I will do that in about 2 or 3 weeks' time for you as a gift for being here. Make sure that you register for that event. We will be, of course, advertising it. We have your email address, of course, and if you've signed in on Zoom, you will get a Zoom invite automatically. Remember, every meeting will only have 100 people on Zoom. If you arrive late, you will be transferred on to YouTube. Currently, actually, let me just check very quickly if I can find my cursor and see how many people are on YouTube currently. Well, would you believe it? There's 34 people on YouTube because our room, as you can see, is 100, is filled. They are now being all diverted to YouTube automatically. So that's a good thing. Okay. All right. Having said that, I usually get a bit distracted, so bear with me. If you want to become a member of Leadership Speak, right, we will be posting a feedback form at the end after my presentation. We'll also be posting it at the end after Rozy Rana's presentation. By the way, I would like to say a little bit about Rozy Rana. I know she will be introduced and she'll be talking to you and all that, but she's such a great friend that I really wanted to mention again, and I mentioned that yesterday as well. She's a distinguished Toastmaster twice from District 114. She actually created and helped form District 114. She's the pioneer of District 114. Where is District 114? It's in East Africa, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and now it's gone further into Ethiopia, I believe, and a couple of other countries around there, right? But in 2014, I believe she was a pioneer, Smedley's distinguished past district director, and President's Citation, PhD, remember, PhD in business management, and a managing director of a very good, large coffee company in Kenya. She lives in Nairobi, Kenya. I am from Kenya, by the way. I live in Canada. That's hence my accent a little bit. Okay. All right. So you will, after I speak, stick around because she has some great information on how the leadership and communication in Toastmasters can be used to really succeed professionally, like she has. She's a walking, talking example. She walks the talk. Okay, so she'll be on. Just wanted to acknowledge her, and she's in the audience, I believe. There she is. Rozy, thank you. Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. So now, Hannah, could you please post the notes, the PDF in the chat? There'll be two, like I always promised. If you are in the room, you will get the notes in the PDF. So Hannah will post those here. Now, I don't want you to spend time looking at that because just make some notes now. Keep those PDFs and the notes separately that you will refer to later on. I hope that you will review this video again and then make further notes as you go along and make actionable items. Remember, actionable. If you don't make a list of actionable items, this is useless. As you go along and at the end, make a list of actionable items. When you review the video, make a list of actionable items that you will follow through with. Okay? As well, Irene, if you can launch the second poll for me, that'll be great. So let's wait for poll number 2. And there it is. And I've always wondered, right? Why are you in Toastmasters? Is it for professional development? Is it for socializing? Is it for networking? Or is it just a hobby? You're here leisure, you're sticking around, you're having fun, good time. So yeah, okay, that's why I'm in Toastmasters. Why are you in Toastmasters? What's the real reason for you to be here? So I can see the numbers are going up. I hope that every one of you do. I know some of you are refraining from participating. So already engagement is low. You can see that if you're not engaging here, you would wonder why your club is not engaging or your members are not being engaged, right? You have to engage here, demonstrate, walk the talk, right? So if you walk the talk here and you walk the talk everywhere as a Toastmaster and exemplify what a Toastmaster really means, and we've forgotten these days what a Toastmaster really means, it is the ability to serve, to contribute, and to learn. That is a Toastmaster. How can I serve you? How can I contribute, right? And getting engaged in a community that is all about communication and leadership. And what's your primary skill? Your primary skill is communication. It's not to be an engineer or a nurse or a doctor or an architect or a janitor or a homemaker. Your primary skill is communication, and you have to be engaged correctly with the right sort of communication at the right time. So I will hope that you get engaged with this poll, and I'm not trying to force you and twist your arm. It's up to you, really. But you have to look at how your habits and behaviors, right? They're reflected everywhere, everywhere. Not only here, not only in the minor poll. It's just, yes, it's a poll. What the heck is Brahm talking about? It shows up everywhere. Let me tell you, let me assure you, whatever you do here in small little things, that gets reflected in big things as well. That is one of those things that we will be teaching in the 3rd or 4th session that I'm talking about in what's real communication. Now, having said that, let me see. Right, 69 people have engaged with me, and the rest, 24 of you are refraining from engaging, and that's fine. The poll is still here, I believe, on the screen. Let me just take a screenshot of that. Oops, I don't seem to be getting that. Oh, there it is. And if you can share the results of that screen, Irene, that'd be great. Thank you very much. So you can see, and I don't have to really post it. It's being shared there on the screen, and you can see the poll is clearly that you are here professional development. And I'm glad that most of you are here for that purpose, because that is who I'm talking to. That is my audience. If you're here for professional development, you are my audience. You are my people. I mean, if you're here for hobby or whatever, of course, it's I can't really do much help you. Let's put it this way, because everything that I'm saying is from my experience to be for professional development, how to develop yourself professionally in communication and leadership so that you excel out in the real world. And hence, that is the reason why Rose is coming up next after me to talk about that. That is my passion. Thank you, Irene. You can close the poll and we can carry forward. Okay, so again, yesterday I shared this. Let's look at these numbers again. Perhaps one of your clubs is in this statistics. Now, this is from a data dump that I did about a week ago. It would change, but it won't be too much different. But this is from the data dump that I did. I dumped every district and put it all together. It was a lot of work, but I had to do the hard work to sort of just be able to give you these few numbers here. And so club losses suspended, ineligible or low, that means under 8 members, or they've been suspended because they didn't pay the dues for two due in September and April, whenever dues are due, right? They didn't pay them, and so they got suspended, right? Ineligible means they have very low numbers. Okay, and of course, the number of clubs that did coaching, according to the data dump that I had from 8 to 12 members. That's when you need a coach officially. 4,315 globally. In my district, if you come, we are losing clubs. We have actually what should I say? Yeah, one division. We've closed down one division and amalgamated the clubs into other divisions and areas. So we had to get rid of one division this current year coming up. So that's what's happening in my district. I watch the dashboard on a very regular basis. I know what's happening in other districts as well. There are countries or regions, some of them in Africa, in Asia, that are growing. And there's a lot of clubs, districts that are Smedley's distinguished this year, right? But if you look at the clubs on the Americas or the Europe, right? Even in Africa and the Asia too, but mostly in those countries, this is from my observation of the dashboard, is there are more clubs being lost in those areas. Okay, it's just an overview. I'm sure Toastmasters International, well, they know better, and they, I'm sure, are going to produce a better map of those things as they go along and study it. This is just from my data dump. And so this is very important for us to know as to what's really happening and how can we improve our leadership. Now, this picture here, let me just switch that off. This is the club that I was coaching, right? And I hope that hand goes down. This is the club that I was coaching in 2020. This is February of 2020, a week or two before the pandemic hit, and we closed down. This is a church where we were meeting, and the church says, here's your rent, check back. We haven't even banked it, and we are closed, and we don't know when we will open. That was a pandemic. Now, you can see a lot of people there in this room, right? The person taking the picture is a member, and the lady who is on our left, so this lady here was a member. The rest of them, all these people here, are guests. And of course, you can see me here waving. That's me, the coach, member. And the person taking the picture, member. The rest of them are all guests. Yes. I had to go because there were just 2 of them. I couldn't rely on them to go out there and do anything because they didn't know how to. That's why I was a coach. So what did I have to do is I had to go out myself and from my network, and I go ask people and on WhatsApp and call them up and say, can you come and help this club? I need your help. Can you come and serve and contribute? I need you to come and serve and contribute because there's only 2 people and me, and we want a room that is full. I don't know why this hand is going up. So, and I said, we want this to be a full room. And so when we have guests, they're not going to join if there's only 3 of us, obviously, right? What could we do to improve the club? So what I did was I invited these people from the area, from the division, from the district, that people that I knew, because I've been a Toastmaster for a long time and I networked with all the people. And so I knew them well, they knew me. And so they came to the club every week, every Saturday at 9:30. Some of them drove quite a long, this gentleman here drove 40, 50 kilometers because he liked what I did. Now, why did they keep coming every week? And why did they sort of make sure that the club succeeded? This is what we are going to get into. And how does one do that? That's the case study, okay? And of course, when the pandemic hit, we went into this sort of thing. Actually, this is a video from Leadership Speak launch meeting. That's what this video, okay? But that was just as a segue. So what I did for the club My Speak, and as well when I created Leadership Speak, is to have a value proposition, the why, the purpose. Why is this club in existence? Why is your club in existence? Do you know? Why does it exist? Why are you a member of your club where you are and not any other club? And why are you here to learn something so that you can improve your club and your own leadership and your own communication? Why are you here? What's your why? What's your club's why? So I created the club's why. And so, I said to my speak, all right, 2 members and me, and we are online now, and we have all these guest speakers, and we want them to have a certain value from what we are doing here. And you, dear guests, you are seeing something different than what you're seeing in your club. That's where you're coming every week. So what is it that we want you to do? Well, dear guests, My Speak is supposed to be a club that is setting world-class trend in online meetings. That's what we declared. That was our mandate. That was our why. This is where we operated from. Now, when you say world-class, and when I put the meetings together and the agenda together, as it's supposed to be, like we discussed yesterday, quality agenda, everyone knew what they were supposed to be doing. These were experienced Toastmasters, so they didn't need to be trained in any way, all right? And they came, and when they saw that the meeting was put well together, I started on time. I expected them to come right on time. I would told them, be on time, be early, because the meeting will start on time. Very clear communication. And these are experienced Toastmasters, but they followed the instruction. And when they saw the meeting open and it went along in a very good, excellent manner, and everyone was called and everyone knew their role, of course, they had not seen something like that from in their own club. The quality was very, very high standards. And the theme of the meeting was very different. I'll get into that, but here's a stat for you. Right? What happened is, because of this value proposition, from February of 2020, well, from February to June of 2020, it was already President's Distinguished, right? And it had 21 members. By June 2021, right, it had 53 members. Okay. And it was one of the top 4 clubs globally. I had a very good VP of education at that time. And so, and they actually, here's the story, right? You know, in those days, when I was a club coach, in those days, a coach was allowed to join the club that they were coaching, and that would be counted towards addition of that member. Nowadays, of course, a coach cannot join the club, which is the right thing. And I said, I will not join the club and be counted as a member. I will remain as the coach only and not be a member. So at the end of June, I was not a member with them. And I'd completed my coaching from 2 active members to 21 members. You can go and see that on the dashboard for that year. So of course, I got my coaching certificate, and as well, because I had increased the membership by such a big margin, I also got the recognition for being a district officer. You don't have to be a district officer when you increase that many members for a club. And that's why I got my second DTN. Okay. And then I created Leadership Speak in February of 2022. Okay? And then we had a value proposition again. This time a premier, oh, this spelled wrong. There should be no E there. Premier Club for Toastmasters to become better self-directed leaders. Premier Club. That was world class. This is Premier. And being self-directed. This is an advanced club. This is a community club. This is an advanced club. We had a value proposition. And all members have to understand, all new members have to begin to understand what this means. And this is the mandate. So they have to act in accordance with the mandate. And because of that, magic happened. From February of 2022 to June 2022, we were President's Distinguished. June of 2023, we were one of the top 5 clubs. June of 2024, we were one of the top club. June of 2025, you can go and look on the dashboard. Somebody had posted that yesterday on in the chat as well, right? And you can see it's about 120 education awards. If you look at the daily reports, over 150 4 awards or something like that, education awards for Leadership Speak. It is not the numbers, it is the quality. The quality gives numbers. Numbers never give quality. Okay? Let me tell you that. If you're just focused on numbers, you will miss out on what the real meaning of Toastmasters is. But if you focus on quality, numbers will automatically, your membership will grow, retention will grow, and you will get the education awards that you want. Whatever the target is that you create in your club success plan and in your DCP plan, that will happen. Thank you again for posting that. There you go. It's somebody's posted that kindly again in the chat of where Leadership Speak is. Is that Leadership Speak? Yeah. Kasubabu, thank you very much. Okay, so the thing is, what's the value proposition of your club? Tony Brashett yesterday mentioned that as well. What's your value proposition? I was with Matt Kinsey once, or I don't know if I've done a lot of workshops with Matt Kinsey. He's come and spoken, and he's been on my panel discussions. You know, the past international president, right? Distinguished Toastmaster Matt Kinsey, great guy. And I think I think I was attending one of his presentations. It was not one that I done with him. And in that he mentioned, what's your unique selling proposition or value proposition? Does a club have one? And so this is a mandate for our club. Right? This thing is mandated for our club that you have to have. Oops, what's going on here? Oh, there we go. So a club's vision, which is what Tony had mentioned yesterday, a club with a vision is the North Star of the club. Where is this club going? What's the direction? What's the direction the members are going in? Now, your club may not have this mandate, but every club has a club mission, right? Supplied by Toastmasters International. Even if you use that as the North Star, and it clearly states it's for personal and professional growth, right? Communication and leadership in a safe space. Well, what does a safe space mean? That's for the later, in the next few events that I will be doing. But it's the North Star of where your club is going. What's the value proposition? Are the members acting from this? It's really a mandate, okay? It's mandated, therefore the members must follow it. If you get together with your members of your club, could you create one of these? If your club is suffering, are there some members in your club that really want the club to succeed? Who are they? And will they want to create a mandate? Perhaps let's have a mandate and a direction for the club so that we can succeed. Because when there's no vision, we shall perish, right? That's an old saying from the Bible, I believe. Have a vision, have a why, a purpose, call it what you may. Call it a mandate, call it a value proposition. This is the direction, this is the North Star. Try and create one and see what happens. Okay. So, what were the key steps of reviving my Speak Toastmasters Club? What are the steps I took? So from 2 active members to so many members. Find a team of people who will serve and contribute, either from the area, the division, the district. If not, go to another district. And how do you do that? Well, we have a Toastmasters International Facebook page, right? Go and put it in there. Hey, can you come and I see that regularly, actually. We need a journal evaluator, or we need a speaker today. Somebody just dropped out. I see regularly. And people say, if it's a speaker, especially, people say, oh, yeah, I'd like to come and speak, what time zone it is, all right? But the best place to start is from your area, your division, and your district. How many clubs in your area? Well, there's probably 4 areas in your division. So maybe 4 to 5, say 4, there's 16 clubs to 20 clubs in your area. Say average of 10 to 20 in that sort of a club. Say 150 to 200 members. It's a lot, right? In your division. Could you find a handful? If you were low in number and you wanted your meetings to go well, or you needed a speaker or an evaluator or an experienced GE to set you in the right direction, I get asked from clubs all over the world, come and be the GE for us. Help us all the time. And I do. I go and serve and I become the GE. And of course, before I become the GA, I sit down with the person that's invited me, with the president, with some of the people from the club, and I said, what's your objective? What are you really looking for? Where's this club going? See? So if you're a GE in your club and you are the member of the club, you should know that before you become the GE, so that you give the right sort of feedback to the club. Like what's missing, what we can do better, because you know the mandate or where the club is going, right? So I found people that would come to the meeting. The meetings were high quality, which we discussed about extensively yesterday. It was all about quality. When there's quality, people won't want to leave. What happened is they came in February, they stayed in March, they stayed in April. In May, what I did was, and I was playing it coolly. I didn't ask anyone ever to be a member, not whatsoever. I invited, because we were online, I invited the international president, Jim Kokowski, who's a Canadian. I'm a Canadian, and I knew Jim Kokowski from before. And I said, could you come and speak to the club? Well, we were all on Zoom. Why not? And people had never seen an international president attend a club meeting before, and he spoke for 20 minutes. All those people who had been attending for all those months, and they were seeing a high quality meetings, something went in their head like, oh, that's how they went. I said, I need some help. I create the agendas every week. It's a lot of work, and you're all enjoying. Could a couple of you just help me with the agenda? Four people put up their hand. I can help. I can assist. They became members. I said, you want to assist? Great, awesome. I didn't ask them. They said, we'll become members. We can't do without this club, the way it's being run. International presidents coming here. And that opened the floodgates. The rest of them said, take my money. I want to be a member. And so the rest is history. By June, everyone else had become a member. What was the driving force? Quality. Quality is the key driver of retention, of converting guests to members. Quality. Quality, quality, quality. Nothing beats quality. Are you getting it? Can you write this down? Can you write this down and say, this is what I'm going to do in my club? I can see that even Rozy is taking down copious notes. Sorry, Rose.
All good, Brahm. You're absolutely right.
Thanks, Rozy. So there you go. Quality is the key thing that will create any club. You can lift anything and put it up into the sky. quality. Quality is a mindset, it's an attitude. Aristotle says it's not a one-time act. It is a habit, it's a behavior, it's like ingrained, it's an embodied quality. So you have to begin to embody quality, hence that which creates an experience, right? So excellence creates experience, experience creates engagement, and when people are engaged, they don't want to leave a good party. Nobody wants to leave a good party. Nobody wants to leave a place where they're being recognized and somebody is like looking after their interest and making sure that they're succeeding. Nobody wants to leave that party. I assure you, nobody wants to leave that party. That is the reason why Leadership Speak has 59 members. At the end of June, when it's updated in, I don't know if it's updated today, I didn't look, but in the next little while, like, right, it'll be updated. And some of people say maybe by the 28th, because they are realigning districts, and that's a lot of work, of course. So that might come out by July 28th. But you will see that we've already added 5 more members. We can't say no. Actually, we have a big list of people who really want to become members. So we are slowing down in Leadership Speak. They come as guests, they see the quality, the jaws open wide and say, is that what you guys are doing? I want to be a member of this club. How can I be a member? I'm only done level 2. Sorry, we are an advanced club. You go to do level 3 before you can join. Quality. Period. That's what it is. Nothing else sells like quality. For the same price, $60. You go to a club, you pay $60, and they're fumbling. The meeting starts, nobody knows what they're doing. You paid $60. You come to Leadership Speak, the quality is so high, you paid $60. Where would you go? That's a stupid question, isn't it? Where would you go? You go to a restaurant, the same price. There's a restaurant next door where, you know, the service is crappy, the food isn't well, it comes out cold, you're not served well. And here's another restaurant, same menu, but the food is like cooked fantastic, it's served well, you were greeted at the when you entered the restaurant, you were greeted well, you were seated, you were looked after. The waiter came out immediately. Sir, what can I do for you? How can I help you? A big smile on his face. You were served your food well. It was hot. Where would you go for the same price? It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Would you say that? Right? So what are you going to do when you go back to your club? I know what you're going to do. You're going to create quality. And people will stick. No matter who they are, they're going to stick in your club. Number 2, what's in it for them? So when they came to the club, yeah, sure, quality is there, but what's in it for them? Are they learning? So like I mentioned yesterday, the theme of the meetings was not, it's a sunshining day today, or it's a rainy day. Oh, no, it was effective poses, right? Voice modulation, right? Or how to lead, self-directed leadership. They were learning about Toastmasters through the theme. It was not like Girl Guides Cookie or Sunflower Day or Tulip Day or God knows the sort of ridiculous themes I come across. And then the Toastmaster will speak for, and they're fumbling. They haven't even prepared for that either, right? They've created the theme. Oh, it's a rainy day or it's rainy season. They'll fumble around for a few words. Why? Why are we doing this? Can I ask you? Why are we doing that? Well, who's learning anything from that? I know I've got a serious face there. Don't worry about it. I get a bit serious sometimes.
Darren, don't tell me that.
Okay. So what's in it for them is, are they learning and are they growing? Quality may be there, but if they're not learning, they're not growing, they will not come back. The theme was always something to do with communication, something to do with leadership. And so they learned something. Not only that was the theme mentioned, and not only did the Toastmaster of the day, who was me for the first 6 meetings, I was the Toastmaster of the day to make sure that everyone knew what we were doing before I handed it to somebody else and said, now, okay, you take over. You've seen me perform. You become the Toastmaster of the day, and let's see what you do, and we'll give you feedback accordingly. And it stuck. And those were the themes in my speak. These are the, if you come to leadership speak, it's purely every theme is on leadership development. Everything, because the club is based on leadership development. To be a better self-directed leader, it's all about leadership development. Every theme is about leadership development. The Toastmaster of the day will prepare content for social media post. Actually, they will get together with the education speaker to create the content, 150 words roughly, give or take. Why the education speaker? Because the education speaker will speak on the theme for 20 minutes. And they will put it to their level 5 as a speech. We will train them. Not only that, the grammarian will have word of the day in accordance with the theme. Not only that, we also raise the toast in our meetings. The toast will be in accordance with the theme. Not only that, the thought of the day at the end of the meeting, we have a thought of the day for 2 minutes by another member, and they will have the thought of the day in accordance with the theme. The theme will run throughout the meeting. When guests come and they say, I learned so much about self-directed leadership or whatever leadership theme that is going on, right? We had a lot of different themes where recently that were like just amazing. We had so many people come in and say, I learned so much. And when guests are learning from because of the theme, and they come because of the theme, and then they see the high quality meeting happening at the same time, what do you think will happen? Are you going to change your theme or not? What do you think? Put it in the chat. I mean, if you think you are going to change your themes to something that'll help the members grow when you are talking about the theme, will it help you? How about engaging in the chat? What do you guys think? Yeah, it's a tough subject because I see that people have left the meeting room, a few of them, and a few of them more are leaving the room. It's okay. Like I said, if you are here for the hobby or you're not here for personal development, this may not be for you today or any of these series. So we are at 93 now. Remember, we were at 100 when we started, right? So there you go. And let's see what people think. I'm mindful of that, or already creating this, making things about professional growth perfect, already doing it. Okay, great. I'm changing for my club, more focused on communication. Yes, I will change. Great, great. Thank you for those of you who are here and you are engaged. I can see that's happening. Perfect. And those who have left, thank you very much. So that the people who really want value work can actually enter the room and get the PDFs. So that's great. Eye opener, theme connected to what you do. Perfect. Yes, absolutely. I like the themed meetings, but sometimes it feels restricting, lack of imagination. James, use artificial intelligence and get your imagination soaring. Let it help you and assist you. You don't become a slave of AI. Use AI to be your slave, and ask it, train it, and ask it questions, and see. Sometimes it'll give you answers that are not quite conducive. So you have to have an open mind and work with AI and train it, and find out what it can tell you, right? Okay, not me. I like the challenge. Okay, James, perfect. Okay, and so absolutely, why not? Why not? 100% agreed. Okay, thank you. We have some themes occasionally. I don't see much more engaged. We are select distinguished last year. Okay, Mark. I'm just sharing what works for me. Like I said, if it works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, or if you want to change a little bit of what I'm saying, by all means, of course, or you can discard everything that I'm saying. whatever works for your club. You know your club better than I know your club. Okay, I'm only speaking from experience from the clubs that I've created, and I get invited to a lot of clubs, right, where they are not effective, and they have invited me to improve the club. Of course, as I was speaking here, a lot of people did get offended and said, I have things like it's a rainy day and sunflower day, and so what? And so they left, and that's okay. It's all right. Okay. Let's move on to the next point. I already mentioned this. I think I've just hammered this point so much. Excellence creates experience. Experience creates engagement, and that's a great thing, right? Right there. So, so let's not belabor that. You've all got that. You got that from yesterday. If you were here, you'll see it in the recording. The recording is in the YouTube channel, and today's recording will also be there. Please review these two important things. Plus, I did only a live stream. It was not on Zoom. Growth mindset. So those people who left don't have a growth mindset. If you're still here, you know that you have a growth mindset. I can see that people left, so some people were able to join in. Congratulations. Perfect. Have a growth mindset. It's there. It was live streamed. That's also an hour-long presentation of just how to have a growth mindset in Toastmasters. Okay. Next, make it challenging, make it growth-oriented, give better evaluations. My experience only from the clubs I've visited and the clubs that I have been in that have not done well until we changed a few things was evaluations begin with, wow, amazing, excellent. You know those evaluations, right? Or the G will, when they come on, oh, great, amazing speakers, great meeting, excellent. You've been to those meetings and you'll go, oh, cringe-worthy. Cringe-worthy. We all know what a good evaluation should be. But we are so afraid to offend somebody. We'll say, wow, great, amazing. And it could have been the lousiest job that they've done. It's okay to sort of find points that they had good points or something that say that was okay. But you don't have to say, wow, excellent, great. It doesn't matter what sort of, even if it's a professional presentation. No, don't go for wow, great, amazing. John, you excelled at this, and this point, and your conclusion, really, I had a takeaway from your conclusion. This is my takeaway. Thank you. This is where you can improve, John. This is where you could do better and excel at putting this X, Y, and Z. And here's the summary, and so on, right? That's an evaluation, pure, without saying, wow, here's the challenge for you, actually. And actually, that's my third project from down the road coming up in about 3 months' time. It's going to be evaluations. But here's my challenge to you. The next evaluation you do, avoid the word awesome, excellent, wow, amazing, all those. Avoid doing that and see how you can do your evaluation. Try that. It's going to be hard for most of you. Try it. But if you master that, you mastered communication. Better evaluations is key to growth. And when people are growing and it's delivered in the right manner, people will keep coming back and say, wow. The speaker will say, that's like amazing. I didn't see that. How can I grow? A leadership insist the speaker and the evaluator meet and exchange the evaluation form, but they also meet, not just send text to each other, but meet on Zoom for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 10 minutes, discuss the direction that the speaker is going in and what their expectations are, what they are really working on, what they are really incorporating into their presentation for the next time around, that the evaluator should be looking out for. That is rapid growth. This is what people want. They want to grow because most of you said you are here for professional development, not for hobby, not for leisure, not for networking. Some of you did say that, but most of you are here for professional development. This is key. The key is when you're a manager and you're giving a review to somebody who's reporting to you, and they come to your office and you don't begin, wow, excellent, amazing, John. You don't do that, do you? It's nothing. John will say, who's this boss of mine? What the fuck? No. What the heck is he doing? Right? So everything that's why Rozy is going to come and speak next. Whatever you're learning here, you're going to be using out in the real world. So make sure that you're learning the right things here and fall flat on your face, learning this thing here, so that out in the real world, you want to be a manager, you want to be a leader, you want to rise up in your corporate world, you want to develop professionally. Even if you're retired, you want to speak well to people and encourage them and inspire them by this. And so there's no fluff in your evaluations, no fluff in your communication with members, right? It's straight, it's authentic, yet caring, right? And understanding and giving the right direction. And if there's high quality present, people will listen and they will do what you need them to do so that they can improve and the club can go in the right direction. That's why they're there. And that's why they're a member. And that's why they trust you. That's the key. That's why they trust you. They only trust you because quality is there. You take care of them, you understand them, and you give them direction, which is the right direction. No fluff. Oh, it was great, John. It was good. Sugar coated. There's no growth. And as a lot of clubs have been caught up in this sugar coating, that does not grow people, does not therefore grow clubs. Therefore, there's a decline because of sugar coating. And this is more of that. This is the type of communication I was talking of, which we will do in detail in about 3 weeks' time, if you're interested. Okay? That sort of communication that you need. How else did I survive in MySpeak and thrive and flourish in MySpeak? At the very beginning, in February and March, before we had the international president come, right? What I did was, I would, the area and the division contests were happening in the district. So what I would do is every time the area contest happened and later on the division contest, I would go to all these contests. I would ask the winning speaker and the winning evaluator to come to the club the following Saturday morning. And I told the speaker, do you want an evaluation from a winning evaluator? Wow, of course, I saw the winning evaluator. What a great evaluation he'd done. Of course, I would love an evaluation from him. And to the evaluator, would you like to practice for your next level of contest? Would you like to practice evaluating a champion speaker at the area or the division level, so that you can practice and then get feedback from other members about your evaluation? Would you like that? Boom. Of course, I would like that. I want to practice. Thank you so much for inviting me. Those are the outside speakers from the area, division, and district contest winners. So as members saw that, they'd never seen anything like that. So if your club is struggling, do you have champions in your area from last year? Maybe the contests haven't started this year, right? We are just in July. From last year, were they winners in the division level? Were they winners in the district level for evaluation and speaking? Can you invite them and match them and do that? Because perhaps they want to do that again this year. Find out who's going to be in the contest this year. Hold workshops. You may not have the expertise. Call somebody from the district. Call somebody from other districts. Put it in the Facebook group, Toastmasters International. Are you an expert at evaluation? And we need a workshop. Are you an expert at speaking? If you're on Zoom. Or if your club, even though it's meeting physically, can have somebody beamed in on Zoom. or find from your area, division, and district people who can come and do a workshop for you if you don't have the resources, and then advertise it. And it's really for your benefits of your members. And if it's done the right way, people will stay. They are learning and growing, professionally developing themselves. Key. That was the other key, right? This is how we revived My Speak Toastmasters, from 2 members to 21 members in 4 months. If you're a club coach, if you are in a club that has got between 10 and 12 members, if you're in a club that has got 7 members and you really want to revive the club, we had 8 on the books, but only 2 were active. And in March, they left. And we had like under on April the 1st, we were under. And we would have been disqualified the following time, that when the Jews were coming in September, we would have been like, go, right? If we hadn't succeeded. So now, do you get that, right? What would you be doing differently? And of course, I already mentioned we had an international president later on in around May time, and then few members started to join, and then most of the guests who were coming joined and said, take my money, $60, can't beat the value. And they were all dual members. And of course, we had, of course, other members who are not dual members, that, or they were dual members from other clubs from India. And they were the first member we got, because we were online. So we got a member from India for the first time. And then suddenly people realized, oh, we can join this club. It's a high quality. And we had members from different countries join in as well as brand new people, of course, brand new people who had never been Toastmasters before. This was a community club. And then soon after that, we started to invite world champions of public speaking. We were all on Zoom. Right now, you can beam them in, even if you're meeting physically, if you have the facility to have a screen and whatever, and they can zoom in, right? If you want to grow your club, and international president, WCPS speakers, if they want to speak in your club, they are on Toastmasters International website. Their email is there. And they say, I want to speak to clubs, and here's my email. So there's a list of these people on Toastmasters International. You don't have to hunt them down. From time to time, people will come and say, can I have a email of this? Or can you make a contact with them, tell them to come and speak at my club? I said, I'm not your secretary. No, I can't do that. Go on LinkedIn, go on Toastmasters International website, do some hard work. Nobody gave me any numbers. I had to do the hard work and go get them and write to these people. And they came and they got to know me. And now I write to Lance Miller or Mark Brown. They know me well. Darren LaCroix, name any world champion of public speaking. They know me well. And so when I write to them, they'll say, sure, we can come and serve, Brahm. What can we do for you? I did the hard work. International presidents, they got half a dozen or almost a dozen people, they know me well. I did the hard work. I contacted them on LinkedIn or somewhere else, wherever I could find their contact, or on Toastmasters International website, right? Contacted them, and now they know me well. So if I have an event, that's the Brahm story, I can come, or I can't come, or I can come, not a problem. Do the hard work. The information is available out there. I'm not going to be your secretary. I know I do get those. The only reason why I'm saying is I get those requests very often. Very often. It's not like once in a blue moon. Very often it's a place, can you do this for me? And I said, no, go do your hard work. When you do the hard work, that's when you learn to do something, right? Develop those relationships. Thank you. Absolutely. So I when we have sort of 100 people in a room, and or 40, 50 people on Zoom, I mean on YouTube, is because I had to do the hard work. I had to do the hard work. I had to do the hard work to do all this. When I went to the area division and district to find members and the contestants and all that, I don't have a car. I had to take a bus. In February, when I was coaching the club, and I had to go physically to the club, I don't have a car. it was minus 15 degrees Celsius, and I had to stand at the bus stand to take a bus to go to that place, right? It was very cold. But I was determined, nothing can stop me. When I make up my mind, I'm unstoppable. I had to develop that mindset. Okay? So I can talk about all these things, but if you're not going to develop that mindset of determination and unstoppable, and don't be afraid to offend people, like I offended a few people, as you can see right there. There's only 95 rather than 100, right? Yesterday there were 100 throughout the meeting. Today I said a few things and people left. Good. They got offended. Okay. And they won't come back and they'll probably badmouth me. That's fine. Okay. It happens. I mean, I've experienced the whole range in my 29 years as a Toastmaster. Okay. So the more you succeed, there will be people who won't like you. You're not here to be liked. You are here to make a difference. You are here to be loved by people who really understand you and you understand them. That's your tribe. You've heard this before, right? And so at Leadership Speak, at My Speak, in Toastmasters, in the World Champions of Public Speaking, the International President, whoever, they're part of my tribe. I'm part of their tribe, right? This is how it works. And there are some people who don't like me in Toastmasters, and they will curse at me, and I'm fine with that. I'm not going to be liked by everyone. Don't be liked by everyone. Don't go for validation. Don't go for, I'm afraid of rejection, and I'm afraid to offend you, so I'll be very nice and talk to you and tippy-toe around. Will not work. Period. It will not work. So you have to have the courage to be authentic. We'll talk about that in 3 weeks' time, by the way. This wasn't supposed to be the main theme today, but it's important in any case, because that's what really helped. Was when I talk, I don't have fluff. I had to learn that through Toastmasters and through a lot of personal development courses that I was doing, and I was teaching as a coach. So I had to be like this, direct communicator. Okay, so there we go. Oh, and the other thing is, of course, always have mentors. Make sure that new members get mentors. What we did at MySpeak, because I found that a lot of people that had joined initially were dual members, and they were not new members. So what we did, we said, and they were, since we were all online, this is during pandemic, we said, okay, people from this countries and this countries can be in this group, and this group can have people from this group for time zone purposes. I think that's what we did. And we made about 4 or 5 different mentor groups where they could meet, discuss their own speeches and how to evaluate better and so on, and learn and teach each other. And in those mentor groups, what happened is that they realized they could do more speaking and be heard and get better evaluations, round robin evaluations. I mean, that's what I mean. What happened is that these mentor groups took off, but we only needed about 3 or 4 club champions. Those initial people who stepped forward when I said I need some assistant, somebody to serve and contribute with me in May of 2020. Those people were really gung-ho in making sure the club succeeded into the future, and they started to be the main coordinators of the mentor group. And the mentor groups took off, and everyone was getting mentored and coached, and so the club succeeded. We had 116 education awards that year when I was the president. I don't know if I finished the story though. So I wasn't after being the coach for the club, June the 30th, on July the 1st, the club approached me and said, could you be the president? We want you to be the president of the club and lead us for the next 1 year. Otherwise, we don't know if we will survive. So I became a president, and I had to pay my membership fee, $60, and become a member of that club as well, MySpeak. And of course, the rest is history. Okay, I don't know if I mentioned that before. So there you go. This is how MySpeak Toastmasters succeeded. Okay, when members are genuinely learning and they are engaged, the sky is not the limit. The mind is the limit. The mind. Aswati, any questions?
Yes.
Aswati, did people get offended and leave?
Yes, I think so. A few comments are there. You may read them later.
Okay.
There are a lot of comments.
Okay.
We do have one question. The question is from Sue Burnett.
Uh-huh.
When an online club does these high quality meetings with guest speakers and they come for the workshop, they do not stay or come back. So how do you get over the hurdle, over that hurdle?
If the meeting is high quality and you've interacted with them in accordance with a high quality meeting and a club with a mandate, right? Yesterday I pointed out, and this was not even with speakers or whatever. This was just guests walking in, one at a time. This was in August of 2019. The VP of membership had resigned because she was doing an MBA degree and she couldn't continue as the VP of membership. I stepped in. I would stand at the door and I would have a guest book right next to me on a table. And as the guest walked in, I would look straight in their eyes, smile, and say, "Hey, how are you, John? Sorry, how are you, John? How are you? What's your name? My name is Brahm. And what brings you here?" That was the first question. "What brings you here, John?" When they told me the name, "What brings you here?" And John would say XYZ because my boss told me, my friend told me this is where I can come and do public speaking. Obviously, that's the reason why people come, right? To a meeting. Now, if you have speakers or whatever and so on, the same strategy. Stand at the door, greet the person and ask them the name, introduce yourself, and why did they come? That's the first impression that the guest has, being warmly greeted. Then what do? You tell the guest, sign the guest book. Let me take you and sit you down here. And here's a member that will help you. Sit next, say to the member, "Please, can you sit with this guest and help them what they need?" And I tell the guest, "Here's the agenda. We will start the meeting on time and we will go according to the agenda. And the meeting is high quality meeting. So when the guest watches the meeting and it's high quality and it goes according to the agenda, at the end of the meeting, and I've told them before, at the end of the meeting, I'll come and speak to you. So at the end of the meeting, I go and speak to them. And what do I do when I speak to the guest? I said, "Dear guest, did you enjoy the meeting? Did you learn something? Is this what you came here for?" "Yes, I did." Perfect. Why don't you sign up? Here's the membership application form. If you sign up next week, you will be on the agenda. You can take up the timer role, the grammarian role, and get your feet wet. All right? Just a small, tiny role. I will mentor you myself between now and next week, Saturday, when you sign up now or during the week. Let's talk over the week and decide if you want to. 16 members joined between August and January. The club's executive team put up their hand and said, "This is too much. Don't enroll so many members, so many guests into members. Our orientation team is overwhelmed." Have you ever heard that before? So that's how you get people to stay. Not all guests signed up. Not all people wanted to be a member. Some just were kicking tires, as they say. And you will have people who will kick tires. But if you have the right approach, whether you're on Zoom or on a physical meeting, that is the approach. Greet the guest warmly. Have a good quality meeting. Even if there's 2 people in the club and the rest are guests, they have been primed to make sure that the meeting runs effectively, that everyone knows their role. Quality meeting, greeting the guests, following up will get you the people. This is what I did from 2 to 53 members. From club launch, from 0 launch, there's no members, to 20 members in a week. They came to the launch meeting. They saw 2 international presidents speak, 2 of them in the same meeting, never seen before. 2 international presidents speaking on Zoom. one beaming in from Canada, and the other they were both Canadians actually. Pat Johnson and Jim Kokowski, both Canadians. One was beaming in from perhaps from Vancouver. That's where Pat Johnson lives. Jim Kokowski lives in Fredericton, New Brunswick, here in Canada. Jim Kokowski spoke for 20 minutes. Pat Johnson spoke for 7 minutes. I'd met them before the launch meeting, and I told them what the expectations were. And I told them this is an advanced club, 20 members, launch to charter, 1 week. Quality meeting, first one, because the people that spoke and the timer, the grammarian were from other clubs, and they'd been primed. This is what you do. Why did all 20 sign up? They didn't even know. We didn't even know that. We told them, here's the price, here's the form. Some people were sending me the money right away, even before I'd even talked to them later on. Because I was expecting I will talk to them, sign the form, sure, but we will have a conversation. And some people will just, take my money. Take my money. There have been people who come to this sort of events, that the event that you're here in today, they've only come to that event. They haven't come to Leadership Speak, and they said, take my money. I want to be in Leadership Speak. This event was so amazing. I'm sure your club is doing great. Take my money. It's only $60. Great. So now, did I answer your question, Sue? Aswati, any other question? Aswati, was that answer good, Aswati? Anything, Aswati, from your point? I'm asking Aswati because she's a Smedley's immediate club growth director from District 120. And she's a member of Leadership Speak. She's been a member for 3 years. I respect her opinion. Aswati, what do you think?
Thank you so much, Brahm. No, you answered it perfectly. Yeah, I'm sure Sue would have got her answers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other question?
I don't see any other questions in the chat. Yeah. Yeah, one question. It is about moments of truth.
Okay.
It's by Mary. Are moments of truth useful? If so, when should it be done and how often?
I have some news, and Toastmasters International officials may not like this. In Leadership Speak, we never do moments of truth. The reason being, our standards are so much higher already than what moments of truth does. We have constant training, constant coaching and mentoring every Tuesday and Thursday, that in fact, moments of truth where people say, what's this? So we don't do that. However, in all the clubs that I've been in all the years, I've been in clubs where we've done moments of truth. When should you do that? You should do them at least once a year. I think it's in the club success plan. Aswati, confirm with me. Isn't that part of it in the club success plan, or somewhere on Toastmasters International website? You'd say that we've done moments of truth this year, right? I believe it's there for every club to do that. Even last year I saw that. Have you done moments of truth? That was a
Yes.
question. Do it once a year if possible. And it's normally supposed to be done in a club meeting. So in an online club with the members from 30 different countries, which is my club, and 59 members, is just about not possible. With 20-25 guests attending at any time, we just don't do those sort of things because our standards are so much higher. Our training is so much out of this world, what we do. Right? But do a moments of truth. Once a year if possible, twice a year even if you wish to. When should you do them? First 3 months of a year would be good. It should be part of your club success plan. If your club, you get together and do your club success plan, and you will say, let's do a moments of truth, and let's fine tune our club success plan based on moments of truth. But moments of truth is only useful if you've really been talking well to your members, and they know and understand that they have a vested interest in the club. This is the direction the club is going in, or we want this club to go in this particular direction. You're asking the members, what direction are we going in? And they really do understand that this is a communication and leadership study group. It's not a club. You're not clubbing, right? And we are here to put in an effort towards that goal, that's when it becomes even more useful. So I'm adding my extras in there. Otherwise, of course, just do how it's done mechanically, put these people in this group and this in that group, and there's about 4 or 5 groups, whatever that is, and they'll all come up with their answers. Then you collate the answers and you come together and discuss those answers, right? This is moments of truth. That's all about membership and guests and education program and so on and so forth. So by all means, moments of truth will help, but will the members be able to think of these things in the moment of truth? Sometimes what happens is you'll have to get together with 2 or 3 people who are club champions and think this through and say, this is what we're going to install in the club because we are suffering and we are losing members. Let's do this first. And then go to the members and say, let's do moments of truth and make presentations and tell members what you're doing. I always suggest have a WhatsApp group. Please, WhatsApp group. Put all the members in the group. So when you're chatting in the group, rather than emails, emails get disjointed when you're sending emails to each other and the club members. It gets very disjointed and it's not easy. But in a chat like WhatsApp, where it's live discussion, and you can follow the discussion through. It's much easier to connect with members and tell them what you're doing and how you're doing. And we have that in Leadership Speak. And in my Speak, we insisted you can only be a member of Leadership Speak if you have a WhatsApp account. You can't be a member of Leadership Speak if you don't have WhatsApp. There have been people that said, no, just email me. I want to be a member, but email me. I don't want WhatsApp. So sorry, you can. This is the technology we use to be very effective at what we do, right? It's just a suggestion, by the way. Anyways, so yes, do moments of truth if you can, but if you install these and then do the moments of truth, it'll be more fruitful. It's just a suggestion. I don't talk for Toastmasters International. I don't know what your club is like. Invite me to your club. Invite me to your executive team. Let's have a chat. I don't know what it is that you do, right? Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, Brahm, one more question by Anu Atwal. And the question is, does Toastmasters International have any assistance on how a club can support members who are differently abled?
I am not aware of that. Anu, by the way, Anu, thank you so much for being here. Anu is from Discovery Toastmasters Club. And thank you for being here and coming to this training. And I know that somebody needs some additional help because they are inclined differently. What's the technical term? Sorry, I won't say the right word. Aswati, what's that? How is it said?
Differently abled?
Sorry, say that again.
Differently abled.
Differently able. That's the technical.
Yeah.
Then these days, I know that the term changes every few years, and now it's differently abled. Okay, so I think there is in Toastmasters International. I don't know what it is. I know that when I enter new members into the Toastmasters International, it does ask, are these people differently able? Do they need something other support? And when you tick that box, I don't know what they supply. I have no idea. I haven't really looked into it. I haven't really come across that in my club. So I cannot really answer that for Toastmasters International. The best thing is to put that question in Facebook group, in Toastmasters International Facebook group. Go on, I think you are in Facebook, right? Go on Facebook and put that question there, or Google search, or go to your artificial intelligence and ask. The artificial intelligence knows a lot of things about Toastmasters International. Believe it or not, it does know everything about all the protocols, club constitution. It knows everything. Okay, so ask the question there. I am not able to answer that. I'm not an expert in that area. Aswati, do you know of an answer? Maybe you, Aswati, you know something?
No,
No,
sorry,
no.
I don't know.
Okay, it's not a usual subject that comes up normally. Okay, anything else, Anu? Just put your question in the chat, or of course, I know I'm connected with you on WhatsApp. Please do ask a question there if you wish. All right, and I'll make sure that we can meet up and answer your questions for you. Any other question, Aswati?
That's all, I believe. Yeah, we don't have any more questions.
All right. So you have a PDF, you have notes based on what I've said. I was going to do another scenario of if you had 10 members, what would you do? But this damn red light has been on for quite a long time, so I will not do that today. Okay. But I would like to say this, there's no magic. It's only skill building. Okay. Why do we have so many guests at Leadership Speak week after week? Purely quality and how they are greeted as soon as they walk into the room. How they are greeted, how they are treated. Period. And if the guest has come once and they come the second time, I know who the guest is. I say, hey, you were there 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Hey, are you from Ethiopia, right? Just from the name, I know that. So when guests know that I can pronounce the name, they're from all over the world. We are online. That's the reason. And I know and understand them and where they probably are from, and I recognize them from, they may have been there for 2-3 months ago, but I still recognize them, and because so many guests, but I still do. That's what gets you people to come back. That's why we have so many guests week after week after week. Why? Instead of watching Netflix, they want to watch what Leadership Speak is doing. They can learn and take it back to their club. We don't have the restriction of come 3 times and be a member or get lost. We don't. We have an abundance mindset. Come for as long as you like. Come as long as you like. I mean, in an online club where there's 15, 20 guests, who am I going to check anyways? And even if not, I would let them just come. Why? Because perhaps they cannot afford to pay the fee. Now, in a physical club, you might start fidgeting in because there's only 5 or 6 of you sitting around, and this guest is coming every week and not joining. Of course, you'll start fidgeting your fingers and saying, well, why are you here every weekend? So use your judgment, okay? Use your judgment on what you need to do depending on the atmosphere in your club. So why do they keep coming back is, of course, the quality and all that I already mentioned. There's no limits to the number of times they can attend. I will explain to you. You can do what you, depending on the environment in your club. And eventually, people became members. In fact, right now, what's happening is people from MySpeak, they left MySpeak. After I left, after a couple of years, of course, MySpeak dwindled down in numbers. They did not follow through with what I taught them. And that is the subject of the next presentation in 2 or 3 weeks' time. How do you communicate and keep members when the coach who did coach you isn't there anymore? How do you keep going? Everything that I'm talking about, if you keep doing this, you will win. But there's also a certain type of communication that you need to have with members. And when you don't, and they feel they're not being taken care of, they will leave and they will go somewhere else. After 2 years, I didn't invite them. They just kept coming to Leadership Speak, and eventually I said, okay, do you want to be a member here? And they'd already left MySpeak, but they didn't get taken care of. So remember, you can do all these steps. If you don't have the right type of communication and you don't have the right type of leadership, the members will still not stick around. Okay? I will not do this, like I said, okay? So I'll just, the red light's gone in several times, and we are way over time. But basic mindset, let me remind you, you're not a volunteer if you're a president or vice president of education, whatever. It's not because of status that you are the president or vice president or whatever it is that you're doing, or district officer or international president or international director. You are here to serve and contribute. That's why you're doing this. That's the mindset you bring. A learning mindset is very important, right? So when you bring a learning mindset and you're serving and contributing, miracles can happen. So that's the other basic mindset to bring. Why? Because as Alfred Alvin Toffler, a futurist, said way a long time ago, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. You have to unlearn a lot of stuff that you've learned that is not useful anymore, and you have to really relearn things that has always worked. Connection with other human beings, making sure that they feel that you're taking care of them, that you're genuinely interested, that your communication is authentic. We are like dogs. We human beings are like dogs, where we can smell inauthentic communication anywhere. You know that. When somebody just says things to you, you know whether it's authentic or not, right? You know that. So don't give the fluff evaluations. Don't fluff around with, oh, wonderful, great, awesome, John. Don't do that. People sense that. They don't grow. They will leave. Unlearn that. Relearn the things that always work. Authentic. Right? Officer skills. Not all club officers, coaches, district officers, international officers know how to run a high standard club. They don't. Doesn't matter who you are. They don't know how to. Why? It's not their skill. But somebody in the club needs to have that skill. Right? And some of them do have the skill, right? So when you say, oh, international president, this, that, no, don't judge. Some people are good managers, that's all. They're here to serve and contribute and hold an admin position, that's fine. So don't be judgmental about people who cannot run what needs to be done. Maybe you are the person who can do that and help them, okay? So why? Like I said, they're just holding admin positions and so on. So to run an effective club, you have to be a student of leadership and what really makes a club click. Again, that's in 3 weeks' time. Again, the sort of communication, the sort of leadership that you will need for a club to succeed. You may have all these points down, but if you don't have the right type of leadership, the right direction, the right type of communication, the club will stand still. If you're not building legacy, the club will stand still and slide down. Okay? Important. Okay, I think I should come to an end here. Let's go through. I've already mentioned, so don't worry about it. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about this either. Oh, actually, yes. So this is just a recap of what I did yesterday. It's all available on the video. Right? The meeting is only 10% of the effort. It's operational. It's mostly managerial. You won't really wait for Rozy Rana because I'm rushing. She's like wanting to present to you. So I'll just go through this very quickly. This was presented yesterday, right? So don't worry about it. It's all on the video. I can do this again at a later date if you really still want me to go through it. This was just a recap of what we've done, strategic growth, strategic type of leadership, and the legacy type of leadership, okay? So I spend way too much time explaining in detail what we do at MySpeak or how to grow a club. So, but that's fine. This is why you were here today, to the case study. Okay. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. Your engagement is key. However, your engagement, if you're not engaged here today, you will not get your club to get engaged. So how do I need your engagement is if you can fill in the feedback form that Hannah will put in the chat. Hannah, if you can put the feedback form first in the chat, the link, please get engaged with me and give me the feedback that I need. And please watch this video again with the notes, with the PDFs that have been posted for you. Make more notes. And then when we come, if you want, come back 3 weeks time. I definitely will be here 3 weeks from now. Why 3 weeks? Because I really need some break and to pursue my own business as well, right? I have a business to run. And this takes a lot of time to prepare, by the way. And it's a work day for me today, right now. So anyways, engage with me. In 3 weeks time, we'll meet, ask me more questions, but we'll talk about how to communicate and how to lead with all these tools that we've talked about in the past 2 days for you to really succeed. I do not represent Toastmasters International. However, this is what's been working for me. I've been a member for more than 29 years. Thank you, Hannah. There's the chat again in the chat, the link. Please click that and get engaged with me and give me the feedback. Whatever you do here in the microcosm, you're probably doing it at the big level out there in the real world anyways. So if there's 94 people here, there should be 94 evaluations, right? Feedbacks for me. I know that it'll probably be about 15, 20 at least, hopefully, like I did yesterday. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you and your patience with me. And this is what we're going to discuss in the next 3 weeks, the biggest stumbling block. And because we don't know how to inspire, we are afraid to offend people, right? And how we diminish people. It's so important to understand this and how to really connect with other human beings and create a rapport, which is the precursor to everything that we've talked about in the past 2 days, coming up in 3 weeks' time. And with that, Aswati, over to you. I will take more questions at the end after Rosie has finished. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brahm. It was truly an insightful and as well as a thought-provoking session. Thank you for sharing the real-life experience, the real learnings, and the real outcomes. And the biggest takeaway in one line, focus on the members, not on the numbers. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for the next session, how Toastmasters can pivot your professional life. But before getting into the session, let us share one more poll. I request Zoom Master to please share the poll for the participants. Thank you. So the poll is, have your Toastmaster skills helped you in your professional life? Let me see the responses. Yes, most of you say yes, significantly. Yes, to some extent. Some of you think not yet and still exploring. But good to see that majority of you thinks that Toastmaster skills are significantly helping you in your professional life. Thank you so much for the responses. So now it's time to introduce our next speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Dr. Rozy Rana. Dr. Rozy Rana is a seasoned professional with over 30 years of corporate leadership experience. She currently serves as the managing director of Dormans Coffee Limited, East Africa's most esteemed coffee roaster, and has held senior positions in administration, operations, finance, and human resources. Over her 20 years of Toastmasters membership, Rozy has won contests, served in different club officer positions, and extended mentorship and sponsorship to numerous members and several clubs. She was the first member in East Africa to become a distinguished Toastmaster and the Presidential Citation Awardee. In 2017, Rozy played a pivotal role in laying the foundation for 5 countries of East Africa to grow into a district. She became the founding chair of the East Africa Territorial Council, instituted structures, and built capacity. Under her stewardship, the council attained 100% club and membership growth, and 80% of the base clubs attained distinguished status, resulting in the board of Toastmasters International elevating East Africa's territorial council status to provisional district status. Rozy assumed the role of district director and steered the teams to earn Smedley distinguished status, and remarkably, the district ranked 4th globally. Rozy credits lessons from Toastmasters for her success in the corporate world and says the skills and competencies from her participation have played a major role in her growth journey. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome distinguished Toastmaster Dr. Rozy Rana.
Thank you very, very much, Ashwati, for that introduction. Dear fellow Toastmasters, today's theme is every member can thrive, every club can thrive. And I am absolutely convinced that you thrive when you are growing, when you're achieving personal and professional growth. Now, most of you said you do find that Toastmasters is resulting in professional growth, and that itself shows that you are thriving. So, today I want to pick up from where Brahm left, but really show how the skills that you learn in Toastmasters, we keep hearing that they are transferable to the real world, to the corporate world. And we're going to see just some of those skills and how they've been transferred in some stories, mine included. So I will begin with those stories. The first, and these are people, these are real people largely from my district. But today in a global arena, we know very many people. So the first is David Gray Kimaro. And I name him personally because I have his permission to talk about him. David Gray joined Toastmasters as a student. He was invited, he was in university. We called upon him to speak, or the president invited him to give a few comments. And David could barely say a few lines without stuttering. He had a speech impediment, if you ask me. He could barely speak. But David saw so much value and he began coming more frequently. The program, despite being so affordable, he struggled with paying because he was in university. Members saw David's commitment, they encouraged him. Fast forward today, it's a few years on. David has built his career through Toastmasters. He is, and he proudly calls himself a quiz master. Those of you from East Africa know David because David is often invited to run fun quizzes for Toastmasters. But as a quiz master, what's very important is he gets invited by corporations, serious corporations, Dormans included, but largely companies like Safaricom, which is the subsidiary of Vodafone in Kenya. They invite him to start off or kick off strategy sessions. They invite him for team building sessions. David attributes his career, monetization of his profession to the skills that he honed at Toastmasters. Next, I will just refer to him as George A or George AR, an individual who was feeling somewhat stuck in his job, struggling, trying to apply for jobs, just not getting the right path. Attends Toastmasters, hones his communication skills, attends a session where, interestingly and coincidentally, a speaker talks about how to ace your interview. He takes away just those lessons, applies them to his next interviews. I don't know if it was the immediate next interview or a few after, I have no idea. But he aced an interview, is currently working at an NGO, and consistently reminds us at our club that it's thanks to Toastmasters that today he's in a happy space in his career. He didn't change his career, but he got the shift that he was looking for. And finally, my story. I joined Toastmasters in 2005. When I joined Toastmasters, I was already with Dormans, but I was in an administrative role, a very basic role. More, if you like, a personal assistant, which is really a glorified title for a high-level and executive secretary. I honestly believe that it was the skills that I honed in Toastmasters that gave me, and this is one of the results of Toastmasters, the confidence to participate, to move from being what you would call an individual contributor to a team contributor, then joining the executive, joining a club officer position to learn how to lead teams. I found myself gradually promoted from a personal assistant to an admin assistant, then to what we called then a personnel manager. Today you call it an human resource officer, a finance officer, a chief operating officer. No, yes, it's been many positions, a chief financial officer before my current role as the managing director of Dormans. I did not join Toastmasters knowing that this is what would happen. I today can move from what you'd call an administrative position to a position where I'm executing, where I'm guiding teams to drive the results for the company. I ask you in the chat, when you talk about, I mean, the majority of you polled saying you wanted to gain professional development. I heard in the earlier session, or from the poll in the earlier session, approximately 80% said that is their goal. Which of these stories resonate, or can you share a story that has helped you, but just very quickly? Have you achieved professional development, or where has your career pivoted? Have you got a new career because of Toastmasters, or have you had a promotion? I'd love to see some answers. Any promotions that you would attribute to the skills honed? Mm-hmm. Thank you. At least I got the first one. It's a yes. Maybe just a little bit more. Is it a promotion or is it a shift in career? Mm-hmm. Stories are very relatable. I have a new career. Thank you very much, Felicia. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Promotion, and yes, a shift in career. Pivot from customer service to HR specialist. From my, yeah, Tony says I became an independent business consultant, more confident. Now, these are stories, and most than stories, they are testimonials of the power of Toastmasters. I got invited to college boards, got elected into city council 5 times. I have learned the courage to speak up. Francois saying, I know someone who was a housekeeper in a hotel and now owns her own company. How powerful is that? Applying to the hiring manager and who said, the Toastmasters girl, and I got the job. That means in an interview, this person said she was a Toastmaster proudly, a promotion, and the list goes on. It is with great pride that I read these stories because I am a strong believer of Toastmasters. And in the next moments, what I want to share are, and thank you, keep those coming. They are very fulfilling, gratifying, exciting, because we will be reading them later. I see another shift in career, got more confidence, more patience. Thank you. Thank you for sharing those stories. I would like to share some, I don't know whether you call them strengths, whether you call them characteristics, whether you call them traits or attributes that I feel were molded for me in Toastmasters. I refer to them with different terminology because it is said that through pathways you can gain over 300 competencies. But there are some competencies which, no doubt, communication, listening skills, etc. But it's a suite of skills, and I want to talk of 3 today. The first is, and you will see these have been put together in baskets because it's not just one skill. But the first is mental agility. And interestingly, I saw in the chat someone say they stay in Toastmasters because of the mental stimulation and the fact that it counteracts dementia. That's powerful. I will be talking more about mental agility. The second is having a structured and goal orientation. And the third is being relationship focused and getting buy-in. Now, I want to refer to how I've picked this from Toastmasters, but what we keep saying is that the skills that you learn in Toastmasters should not stay in Toastmasters. You should be able to apply them to the real world. So this for me is just the hidden curriculum of Toastmasters, or the hidden results. So let's look at mental agility. In a standard evaluation, and if you just look at the basic form, very basic, your brain is sort of functioning as you're listening to a speaker. What worked well? And that's what's on the basic. The speaker have done better. How do you challenge the speaker? That is just in evaluations. When you try and put together a speech, your mind is sort of thinking through a topic. Often, like Craig Valentine says, you put in so much, you kind of do a data dump. You then have a mess. And he says very cleverly, it's a mess which you build, and it takes time for that mess to become a message. So it takes age for the message to be refined. And all that is working your brain. Sometimes it's just listening to speeches and you're provoked, you are inspired, you feel the impact. Sometimes it's listening to powerful speakers like Brahm provoking you, challenging you, and you're sort of stimulated and you think, where can I take this back? For me, all this has kind of resulted in a lot of critical thinking. And at Leadership Speak, we often speak about the power of critical thinking, analyzing things. And how have I then taken this to the workspace? Well, I was introduced as being the managing director of Dormans, but even as I would like to discuss a phenomenon which we are all familiar with, COVID. Being in the coffee business, a large number of our customers work in the hospitality industry. So when COVID hit us, the hospitality industry all closed down. This is when, your mind goes into problem solving mode. What can I do? We were in essential services, so we were allowed to work. But how do you handle when you have a big team who, through no fault of their own, suddenly have no customers to serve? We made a decision, a deliberate decision, that we are not going to lay off staff. We engaged the team, we thought out, we brainstormed, and we came up with a solution. Businesses were closed. These staff themselves rolled out what we called van selling. They would stock up coffee in vans, masked, make sure everything is safe, go out to sectors that did not have businesses open. They went to sectors, including near hospitals, to serve all the service staff coffee. We realized we're not going to make a profit. We're not going to make a profit that particular year. In fact, that was a very hard lesson for me because I've been very results driven. I've never, ever had to imagine that I'm not looking at growth. Working in a profit-centered organization, your goals are always focused on profitability. So this was a whole new learning curve for me, where it had to be compassion, it had to be care. But the team felt more cared for, the team stood out, and it was all that critical thinking, that mental agility. I was putting together these slides, and it's very, they say when you're thinking of something, the universe comes together and that topic hits you. So I'm here thinking mental agility, and I'm driving home 2 days ago as I was preparing this this presentation. And on the BBC, I mean, it couldn't be more timely. There's a discussion about how recent studies have shown that people nowadays are offloading the thinking process to AI. Don't we all use AI? How many of us just put what we want, including what we want to deliver at our clubs, the speeches, and ask AI to try and put it together for us, right? And this discussion, or this podcast, and it's still available there on the BBC Live channel, seemed to imply that you have a risk when you keep offloading your cognitive functions to AI of eroding your critical thinking power. And I'm sort of thinking, wow, at the end of the day, we want to be futuristic. We have to embrace AI. But this mental agility, how do you maintain it? How do you keep a balance? And again, it struck me, hey, Toastmasters is a solution because yes, you use AI. Yes, you have to give AI the right questions, but every so often, balance by coming to a club like Toastmasters. Exercise your brain, involve your teams. So even as we go forward, let's not lose the power of face-to-face. Let's not lose the power of online communication where you're continuously stimulating the brain. So I feel I've picked up mental agility. Someone says, AJ says AI is arrested intelligence. Yeah, a good word. It's actually called artificial because it's mimicking the human brain. And I'm not advocating we stop using AI. We have to embrace it if that's the way of the future. But let's not forget that ultimately we must exercise our brains as well. So for me, mental agility was a surprising strength. It wasn't what I set out. I set out to improve my public speaking skills, to improve my communication skills. So maybe I'd like to ask, what surprising strength have you gained from Toastmasters that you did not expect? I did not expect mental agility. In the chat, perhaps? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I like that Sue Burnett on AI say it helps you be more creative. And I don't deny that. I use AI as well. But it's striking that balance. Thank you. Okay, to be vulnerable and authentic. Tony, to delegate purposefully. You see, when you joined Tony, for instance, or Ilias, you probably joined to find your voice, to improve your public speaking, to get to be a better communicator, and today, maybe to be a better leader. But now you are delegating. Toastmasters has taught me how to talk to strangers. Yes, and that's very powerful. You go into a forum and you sort of get this brain freeze in the past, but Toastmasters has given you more self-confidence, intuition, creativity to communicate authentically. And these are the hidden strengths when we join, we don't know, and they propel us, they propel our careers. Mhm. So moving on, the second part of the second skill, and keep them coming, is kind of a structured and goal orientation. If you see that jumbled up string or thread or whatever you want to call it that's on the screen there, that was me before. Asked a question and I'm like kind of rambling on and not here, not there, and through crafting speeches, knowing your purpose, in the legacy program and even in the current program, just knowing the goal you are, your general purpose, your specific purpose, you become more structured. Table topics. Yes, at Leadership Speak, we don't have table topics, but you're called to speak on your feet. You sort of begin to learn structured thinking. For me, the greatest was the fact that we are always striving to achieve the next goal. So they say at Toastmasters, or we say that the highest distinction is a DTM. But that DTM requires two parts. It requires various other roles, whether it's club officer role, district officer role, but you are focusing on goal by goal by goal. So you're going gradually, step by step. And I just realized that kind of made me a better planner at the workspace. It made me clock milestones. We at Dormans established over time that the market here, the youngsters, Kenya produces some of the finest coffee, but we are not good drinkers. We are milk drinkers. And we didn't have premixes. And with this same path, in fact, as part of my HPL project, we put together with my teams a structured process to set up Kenya's first premix. We worked with the Kenya Bureau of Standards to create standards just for a basic 3-in-1, which is a milk, coffee, sugar premix, following the structured process, recognizing milestones, celebrating milestones. And these were directly transferable skills picked from Toastmasters that resulted in a project and that today contributes a significant amount of revenue for the company. The third is relationship building and buy-in. At Toastmasters, and I know Brahm doesn't like me using the word volunteers, but as a volunteer organization, you are never in a position that you can command. You are never in a position that you can really instruct people. You have to seek buy-in. Brahm also said yesterday that in our club of 59 members, he creates relationships with every single individual. And that becomes so important. People feel cared for. William James, a psychologist, said that the deepest craving of humankind is the need to feel appreciated. And I've been able to take this to my teams. Not only to my teams, I would never today, even as a managing director, call a meeting impromptu. I have to listen to people, check the availability. I look at my team's personal and professional growth. I encourage them. And these are skills I've learned from Toastmasters because there really is no other organization I know that uses recognition, whether it's through reburns, whether it's through announcements at club level, that recognizes people more than Toastmasters does. And I want to share a result of a survey which was on Cicero, which was where lots of people were asked, several organizations were asked, staff members were asked, what are the most important drivers of great work? What makes you work more? And it was interesting. It was not more pay. It was not that they got a promotion. It was that they were recognized. They were valued by their employers. The famous saying, people don't leave organizations, people leave bad bosses. It is learning through Toastmasters that I feel I can recognize my teams. This is also something you can take to your customers. Make sure you form relationship with your customers. And I attribute this to making us successful as a company. So all in all, while we profess as an organization to be an organization that helps you hone your leadership skills, your communication skills, honestly, Toastmasters does so much more. For me, Toastmasters is really corporate training in disguise and at such an affordable rate. I've talked about myself, I've talked about some team members. You have all shared so many stories yourselves. But beyond that, there are so many other avenues we learn from Toastmasters. Whether it's at a president level, Brahm talked about a vision. We learn how to conduct meetings. We learn how to, in fact, yes, there was a question in the chat earlier. What is a CSP? That's the Club Success Plan. The Club Success Plan is equivalent to a strategy session because you learn how you work together with your teams. You learn how you set goals with your teams. That is learning how to put together a strategy document. A VP education can be a talent manager, a learning and develop manager, a project manager, membership, really recruitment, HR. It could be sales, to be honest, because you're always looking to close a sale. VPPR, social media, branding, secretary, you learn. I mean, these are practical lessons you take to the workplace, business writing, governance. Treasurer learns financial management, budget planning. A logistics officer is your SAA or an events organizer. And I ask you, have you taken on any club officer role? What skills have you picked up from that club officer role? And any sharing? Thank you, Nicole. How many of us may have shunned those club officer roles? Thank you, Faith, secretary. And have you been able to pick up something that you've used in the real world, whether it's business writing, whether it's minute taking, whatever it may be? Yeah. Let's use this roles. Thank you, Jyoti. Absolutely. I've made a major shift as a project curator and instructional coach. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I like that, Andrew. It's all in a name. Do you crosswalk between, yeah, officer titles? In fact, I know that Pat Johnson has put together this book for corporate clubs where she's made suggestions for different titles for the club officers. You're 100% right and really well spoken, because a president of a club is an executive director. I like that. And for me, not just for a non-profit, even a profit, a treasurer is a finance manager. I mean, I love that. Let's share that widely. A VPM, an executive director. This is so useful and so powerful. And I sometimes wonder why we complain people are not stepping up and why we beg people to step up, because it's a master class in honing real life practical skills that will make you better in the corporate world. It's a laboratory. Where do you get the opportunity to have experiential real life practice? So for me, I believe that we should not be begging. We should be reminding our members when they step up for a position, for a club officer role, they are learning. They are able to take those skills and apply them in the real world. Thank you, Valerie, for that, for the comments. Yeah, Felicia says she's an area director of 2 corporate clubs. Exactly. I'm not even referring at this stage to the lessons from district leadership. That's a whole new avenue. I could talk about district leadership and what I've picked up and how I've applied it forever, whether it's leading my teams, because pioneering this district 114, made up of 5 countries, and it was pre-COVID when we didn't understand. Some of these countries had 0 clubs. They didn't even know how a club operated. We didn't know we could have virtual meetings. So we used to travel by road, by air. We had no budget. We used to spend our own money. So that's a whole new topic. Thank you. These stories are relatable. You have a new career. Congratulations, Felicia. Yeah. I really love the engagement. Thank you. Andrew says in my home club, meetings start at 7 p.m. hybrid and in person. Okay, so you're sharing your meeting. Thank you. Thank you very much. And feel free. Absolutely. So, and yeah, pay it forward. That's exactly what I'm also trying to do here by sharing my stories. Thank you. Over and above stories of pivoting in career, I share famous public names we all know, people who have monetized their career. These are just 3, whether it's Darren, Ramona Smith, Mohammed Katani, maybe through world champions of public speaking, they monetized their skills. Today, they coach speakers, they train, they are authors. There are other professions where people have used the skills directly from Toastmasters. We've had so many Toastmasters who are coaches or authors or consultants. I know some who have gone into entrepreneurship. Trainer, I myself, 10 years ago, actually 12 years ago, was invited to speak to women who are in middle management and aspiring to be in board level positions. Today, 12 years on, I'm a facilitator for the Female Future program. we've done 25 cohorts in the last 12 years. A cohort is small, 25 people, because we try and give them individualized attention. But what's very powerful for me is that I know of 25 who filled a survey recently after, when you do a post survey, who have genuinely migrated and hold board level positions today. So that's very gratifying, but I would never have been a facilitator had it not been for the skills I honed from Toastmasters. So thank you. As we journey in Toastmasters, there's a phenomenon I want to discuss, which is called the Dunning-Kruger effect. What is the Dunning-Kruger effect? And it's quite expansive, so I won't go deep into it. But I want to just focus on the beginning, the first side of that graph. The graph. What happens is, and this happens to us without realizing it, when you've been a Toastmaster, your curve, your learning curve, and your excitement is on a high because you feel you don't know anything, and you start embracing the program. You're eager to do your icebreaker, you're eager to jump in, and you're really eager to learn. But there comes a time, and for some people, it could be in a year, 2 years. For some people, it's a few years later. For some people, it's when they get a DTM because they feel, oh my God, I've got the highest distinction. When you reach that level where you feel you have this cognitive bias that I've learned everything there is to learn. And in the Dunning-Kruger effect, incidentally, this was by two individuals, Dunning-Kruger, hence the name, they say it's very unfortunate, and they call this the peak of Mount Stupid. And I know it's not a very good word, but what that means is because you believe that you know everything, you kind of, that growth mindset goes away from you. You kind of stagnate, or you feel, okay, I can just be a mentor, or I can only be an evaluator. I don't really have, I don't need to deliver speeches, or I don't need to work on my Pathways project. Or you just slow down. And that is where learning begins to stagnate, or you begin to feel you're not getting the benefits or the value, because there is so much. I honestly don't think we can grasp everything there is to learn in Toastmasters. People ask me, you've been in the corporate world for 30 years, you've been a Toastmaster for 20 years, what keeps you going? It's everything I've said: the mental stimulation, the learning, the growth. I hope I never reach Mount Stupid. We all get to those levels. Some days, there'll be ups and downs, there'll be ebbs and flows. The opposite of Mount Stupid is really that, and we all often also go through that, when that feeling of, when you are given a test, you complete that test, and you're asked, how did you do? And you think you did poorer than you did. Or you deliver a speech, and you kind of don't feel good about it, and everybody is praising you, and your evaluator gives you very good comments. So that could be equated to your imposter syndrome. But Toastmasters helps both, because that is called the valley of despair. But Toastmasters lifts you through these encouraging comments, through feedback, authentic feedback, not whitewashes. You learn to improve, you gain confidence, and that imposter syndrome slowly and gradually diminishes, and you grow. So it's just to alert everyone, to caution everyone, it gets to the best of us. Don't get stuck at Mount Stupid. Don't get stuck feeling you are at a peak. There's always things to learn, because that's what I want you to ask yourself. Do a quick check-in. Are you truly taking on new, and it doesn't have to be Pathways, but Pathways is our curriculum. Are you embracing them? Some people say, I don't want to repeat an icebreaker, but are you trying to give it a new dimension? Are you trying to grow in your journey? Trying to do it in a different way? Are you giving evaluations that truly help people grow? Because that will keep on stimulating your brain. Listening to new speeches. Don't just do it for the applause. Do it because you're helping the speaker, but you're helping your own self and growing your mental agility. Try something new. Try a contest if it's there for you. Try a district leadership role, because, yeah, you will never learn everything there is. And I guess I want to almost leave you with one challenge, which is do that thing that scares you. Do the thing that gives you butterflies. Don't get too comfortable because nothing grows in your comfort zone. No, I'll correct myself there. I've often said there is one thing which grows in your comfort zone. Some of you may have heard me. The one thing that grows in your comfort zone is your waistline. So if you want your waistline to grow, then absolutely stay there. But otherwise, keep challenging yourself, keep growing, because if you grow, as I said at the beginning, members will thrive if they are growing, because at the heart of your thriving would be growth. And it is thriving members that will build thriving clubs. Confidence doesn't happen by accident. Growth doesn't come by accident. Success doesn't come by accident. It all needs investment. And I say to you that Toastmasters is your career accelerator. Toastmasters is your lab for learning. Toastmasters is the platform through which you can grow immensely and propel your career. So yes, let's keep paying it forward. I can see several comments on the chat and I can't wait to read them. Maybe I would ask Ashwati whether there are some burning ones that I should be mindful of or some questions that I should be looking at, because I wasn't able to follow all of them, but I promise you I will read every single one of them. Ashwati?
There are a lot of comments in the chat box.
Yes.
Uh,
Mhm.
yeah,
Any
all.
burden that I should have, but otherwise I will catch up on them. Yeah.
I don't see any question right now, but all are the comments.
Okay, excellent. I'm really delighted to see so much interaction and so much engagement, and I'm looking forward to reading them. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'll hand it back to you.
Just a
Thank
moment.
you.
Just
Yes.
a
Yeah.
moment. Oops, sorry, did that by
Shall
mistake.
I stop sharing?
Did you know? Yeah, you can stop sharing.
Yes.
So what I wanted to ask you is, you didn't ask for your handout to be shared.
Oh, I do apologize. I think I made an assumption it was shared. My bad. My bad. Sorry about that. Hannah, kindly share the handout for me. And for everyone, I mean, some of the questions on the handout are questions I asked you here. But this handout, hopefully, as you go back and work with it, will be a fresh reminder of some of the things that we have done together. If you replay this link, work with the handout and just take notes, remind yourself, but largely, I've shared skills I've picked up. See how they relate to you, see how you can grow in your career. And there are blanks on that handout, which I encourage you to fill out. And I encourage you to think over, reflect, because in fact, even in Pathways, we are asked to reflect. And there's a saying I can never forget, which is managers react, leaders reflect. So reflect on the questions and see how you can apply them or apply the skills that you pick up from Toastmasters in your real life through the handout questions. Thank you. And thank you, Brahm, for reminding me. Ashwati.
Welcome.
I'll do it just now. Let me just find it. Just a moment.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, Sue, you're right. I think it was shared earlier, but it may have been shared during Brahm's time. So Hannah will share it again. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth, for your lovely comments. I'm actually going from bottom up now. Don't get too comfortable. Absolutely. Let's not grow our waistlines. Quickly to see. Wow. Powerful, Amber. AJ. Thank you. Ashwati, you can take over. Thank you very much. I'll continue. Yeah.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Dr. Rozy, for sharing those pivoting stories and the stories of transformation. Actually, they were so relatable because I am also a live example of the same. I pivoted in my career only because of the lessons I learned from those masters, the skills I learned from those masters, and
Awesome.
most importantly, the courage that I got from Toastmasters to shift my career. So thank you so much for sharing those examples. And I'm sure your leadership experience and the Toastmasters knowledge you have must have given a clarity about walking on the path with mental agility. And we all are ready for investing our time and efforts in Toastmasters so that we can see the transformation. Thank you once again. And participants, if you have any questions for Rozy, please, you can raise your hands or put it in the chat box. I'm sure you will be receiving your answers from Rozy. Okay, if not, I see a lot of comments, but
Yeah, no problem.
thank you everyone. And now it's time to hand it over to distinguished Toastmaster Brahm. Brahm, back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rozy. Thank you, Aswati. Hannah, if you can post the feedback form once more.
Yes,
Thank you.
I will.
So, give some more feedback for Rozy here on the feedback form, as well as what you thought of her presentation, how she can improve, what else you would like her to deliver the next time around. She'd be willing to, I'm sure, deliver. She's got vast experience. After all, PhD in a business is not to be taken lightly. So, again, thank you all for attending today. It's been great to be here with you for 2 days running. I didn't want to do it 3 days in a running. So that's the reason I said in 3 weeks' time, we'll do another session and we'll continue through this year. If you need more coaching, more mentoring, if you need me to visit your club, people have been sending me private messages. I will certainly do that as well. Please fill in the feedback form here for Rozy. It'll be posted shortly. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate you all. I would also like to thank my team who have been here for 2 days. And my Zoom master is Irene Sadia. Thank you, Irene. Aswati for emceeing this event. She always emcees my event. When Aswati isn't here, the event feels empty normally. It doesn't have that feel when Aswati starts my events. So Aswati, thank you so much. We've been working together for the past 3 years. Robin Stone, thank you very much for being here. Hannah Schmidt, thank you. And Paramjit Singh for timing today. I know we've gone over in places and you were showing the red light on and off when I was speaking. I always do that. I'm a DTM, so I say always don't time me, right? But there's so much value that I need to impart and give, and I still feel that I should keep talking for the rest of today and give you more value. I know you all want to go and have lunch or dinner or go to sleep, depending on where you are. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate that. Please complete that feedback form. Hannah, did you post that feedback form again?
I can't find it at the moment.
All right, so we'll wait
But
for
I
a
will.
second
Keep-
while Hannah posts that feedback form. It's somewhere in here in the jungle. So please don't leave until we've completed the
Yeah,
feedback
please don't
form,
leave.
okay?
Yeah,
And
it's
so.
gone.
And so in the meantime, what we will do is we will adjourn this meeting because there's no other business to take care of. But I will be here, and please be here to fill in the feedback form. But what I mean to say by adjourn is we'll switch off the recording. If you still have questions to ask me, please do. And we will try and answer that. And Rozy, I think, is still hanging around, so she can answer some of your questions as well. I'm just trying to switch off everything else here, and then we'll